I call the shots, I never call it quits. Trust my intuition, bet it's right and bitch, it often is. Seen too many others come and go, they had the wrong intent. Do it out of love and never for it, then I watch it get bigger than expected. No second guess it, I let it set in. It's God's plan, we out here only accepting blessings. I'm stuck with it, this mindset is terminal. In and out different terminals, leveling up is personal. And I already made it, y'all can miss me. It's hard to believe I made something from nothing. No hindsight discussions, I've been writing, I love it.
Welcome to the 3 Gig Sports Podcast, where we are never wrong, just sometimes misinformed. And yeah, Jimmy, we got to charge that bad boy while we're recording tonight. So no big deal. She drained quick. But we, for the first time in a little while, we have a hell of a lot of shit to talk about tonight. A lot of money floating around in the NBA, especially. Got some fights tomorrow night and things like that. But, Jimmy, what are we going to start with, brother?
We'll get rolling with actually just NBA free agency, which is going bonkers right now. We'll go over I'll just give you the list right now of the money that is getting flung around, the players that are getting paid. Nugget star Jokic has agreed to the largest contract in NBA history, a 5-year, $270 million Supermax extension. By the way, it's actually like 306 because he still has a year left. Devin Booker also agreed to a 4-year Supermax of $224 million. Brings his to, I think it was like 297 because he still has another year. Jalen Brunson has agreed to a 4-year, $104 million deal with the Knicks. Karl Anthony Towns and the Wolves agreed to a 4-year, $224 million Supermax extension. Bradley Beal has agreed to a 5-year, $251 million maximum contract to stay with the Wizards. Let's see. We'll get into the trades after that. After reading all those off, initial thoughts.
I don't think Bradley Beal cares about winning as much as he does money, for one thing.
Right.
We talked about this a little bit before the podcast, but I don't know if I could blame him, I guess. That's so much money. He'll be the face of the franchise his whole career, I guess, but that's the biggest one. Jokic is crazy, too, 271, right? It's never seen this kind of money being thrown around, right?
Yep. It's crazy.
251. Would you take $251 million to be at the bottom for your whole career?
I don't know.
That's a lot of money.
It's a lot of money, yeah.
Karl Anthony Towns with his obviously him and the Timberwolves took a massive jump last year. And what I mean massive is non-losing record. No, it's a massive jump for them. Massive jump for where in NBA terms may not be big, but massive jump. They made the playoffs, right? And we're kind of competitive in that game. Paying them like that, too.
They did feel like it was a massive jump. Remember that celebration they had after that playoff victory? It was like they won the finals. Oh, yeah. They felt like it was a massive
especially
jump,
old boy. What's that runt's name?
God, yeah.
The guard. Patrick.
Yeah.
Beverly.
Patrick Beverly. Just going on. You've seen him everywhere talking shit. I'm like, hold on. Yeah. Calm down there, player.
Right.
Devin Booker with his 224. That's worth it, right?
Oh, yeah. Definitely. Had to.
One of the bigger parts to Karl Anthony Towns is that they also made a trade for Rudy Gobert.
Sold the house.
Gave 4 first-rounders for him, and I know 2 for sure are unprotected on top of that. Is a missing piece?
Yeah, they think so, don't they?
That was dumb. Dumb trade.
The only positive
all that draft capital for another big man who you're not going to want the ball in his hands. It's going to go in Karl's hands if it's going down and low.
Yeah, he's just there for defense, right? Like that's it.
The only positive I see is that Karl won't have to play down low. He can play more of his. He likes to shoot. He starts raining threes. I guess that's one positive I can see. Like, I don't know. I don't know if that was exactly the piece or not, but at least they're making an attempt, I should say. It looks like they're making an attempt to, hey, I think we're there, but 4 first-rounders
It's a haul, man.
That's a haul for – so if that – hold on. So I'm going to roll this into the next one, right? And that is – I don't know if you guys – I'm sure you have seen that by now. Kevin Durant has requested a trade from the Brooklyn Nets, according to his business manager, Rich Kleiman. If Rudy Gobert drew 4 first-round picks, what are you trading to get KD then?
Yeah.
He's I think he's 34, so still plenty of basketball.
4 years left on his contract, though. Yeah.
So a star, if not borderline superstar, and a bunch of picks, right?
So who are you thinking?
Phoenix is the most interesting to me.
Well, they come out and said that it's not happening without Booker coming back. And so I don't think that happens.
No, I'm thinking Ayton, actually.
No, so the Nets come back and said they're not doing it unless...
Oh, the Nets said that. I see.
Unless they're getting Booker in the swap. And then after they signed him to that big deal, I don't think it's going to happen, though. Not there.
Okay.
Where are we thinking?
His other place is Miami.
Did he give a list? I didn't see a list.
It was the 2. It was
just those 2?
It was Miami and the Suns.
Mm-hmm.
So the Suns are off there, and so it's down to 1?
I don't think the Suns, after the Booker deal, because the Nets come out and said if they're not getting Booker in return, they're not doing it. So Miami is interesting. I don't know what they have for draft picks, but they got some pieces. But also, they expressed interest, him and Kyrie expressed interest to play together, but then they said they have no interest in working with Kyrie to get him a trade. So real interesting to see where it comes down to. He'd obviously help Miami right away.
There'd be no... Oh, absolutely. Yes. I'm not trying to say but. It's what they'd have to give away for their team chemistry that is massive, that has carried them as far as they have. And I know it's not enough to win a championship. It's obviously proven that, right? Mm-hmm. But to give away that team continuity for Durant, who... He may be the best player on the floor, even when he was like with the Warriors, for instance, right? He was the best player on the floor. He has the Finals MVPs, all that shit, right? But like we talked about, he doesn't make his team better. So if you get rid of all those pieces that already, and now you're expecting him to either A, carry the load, or even if he's not and he plays a B role, so to speak, then you're still counting on Jimmy Buckets to do that, but no other pieces to relieve that?
I don't think it works because Jimmy Butler's a guy, he's like a better version of Russell Westbrook. It works only if he's a superstar, I think. We've seen it with the Sixers. It didn't work when Embiid was needing the ball as well and some of their shooters, and it didn't work. And so Miami is kind of the perfect situation for him. He doesn't have any stars beside him. He's got some great role players, but nobody that needs the ball. So I don't know if that works for Jimmy Butler, who's playing a role. But yeah, I don't know. Miami's got a good thing going. I don't know if I'd sell for an aging superstar.
Not for a guy that hasn't done it without the Warriors, right? And has also been banged up himself. I mean, yes, he's still playing fabulous. I mean, top tier, top 3 players, whatever, in the NBA right now. I don't know where, if those are the only 2, I mean, that's not much of an option. So if the Nets said they wouldn't do it without Booker coming back, so count them out, then you're just talking to Miami. Well, I guess it depends on what they'd want to give. But now knowing that they're not going against anybody else for him, they wouldn't have to give up much, right? And if they do get rid of him, why in the hell would you keep Kyrie?
Yeah.
Why would you pay him? What do we say? 39 mil is what his player option.
They come out and said they're. So they said they'd work with Durant to send him wherever he wanted to go. Mm-hmm. They didn't rule out sending Kyrie anywhere. They just said they're not going to
appease him.
Yes, it's going to be for the better of the Nets, not the better for Kyrie. Right. But they come out and said for Kevin Durant, they'll work with him, trying to send him wherever he wants.
So the Lakers, I know you've seen that, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
So the Lakers,
very
there was heavy conversation with them being able to try to swing a deal to get KD, and that looks like that's no chance in hell of happening now. But the Kyrie one, they're still full bore on trying to get. Now you'd have to set up. I don't know how well that would work. I mean, we know what it can do. We've seen that. We know what it possibly could do. It depends on what kind of mindset Kyrie's in, number one. But number two, you have to set aside some pride at some point, too, when it comes to LeBron. Because I don't know if you guys remember that quote on the podcast between him and Durant, and he said that, how do you say that? He's like, it feels good to finally come down the court with a motherfucker that I know can do the same thing as me, can put up a shot. It doesn't have to be me every single time.
Mm-hmm.
So what is that? That's a slight at LeBron.
Yeah. I don't think LeBron's worried about that. He wants to get chips, and if Kyrie came there, if they could somehow dump Westbrook, they'd have to work some magic.
Westbrook would have to be part of that trade, right?
It'd have to be somewhere.
Yeah, there's been a couple trades floating around with
Or
a third team
Yeah,
coming in to basically take Russell and his contract on. So.
Yeah.
And then they would probably gather some of those picks, one of the picks somewhere up in that.
Let's talk about something, though, real quick, right?
Yep.
There's a few options, and always what happens is there's going to be a dark horse that comes in, and we're like, fuck, we didn't see that coming. But Kevin Durant and Kyrie decided to go to the Nets. They didn't get recruited by the Nets. The Nets didn't try to pull them in and say, hey, come here. They said, we're going to go play for the Brooklyn Nets, right?
Yeah.
They did that. They demanded these guys come to Brooklyn, start playing, all of those different things. Kyrie even had practices with guys after the practice because he didn't like the way it was ran, shit like that. They were running everything. They had way too much control, but they were running everything. And now they're pissed off and they went out.
Right.
But you did everything that has happened there. Nobody else did. Literally, you had all the control, and now you're just pissed off and you're like, I'm out. This isn't working for me. Fuck, what? What's going to work for you then, bro?
I agree with you 1,000%. It's like, well, didn't the Nets do everything feasible, everything in their power to try to help them in every way, shape, or form? They paid Kevin Durant a year when knowing that he wasn't going to play for a year.
Yeah.
Right? Because, of course, you're going to do that because you want to get KD on the court for you, right? You pay him for a year of nothingness, just rehabilitation. You deal with the Kyrie stuff. Now,
They made Brooklyn pull in DeAndre Jordan and pay him way too much money, too.
Way too much money. They've traded away some pieces. Then they also brought in James Harden to try to do that, too. So they brought every what it feels like to me is like they brought in anything and everything that they could to try to help this team, bring in their own guys in, their friends, the whole works, and now you shit on us?
Yeah.
I just don't know. The Nets are going to be in rough shape. I mean, they can get a haul, but if those are the only two teams, I mean,
Yeah.
at some point you got to roll the dice, right?
We all hate on Harden, but it makes you think. Did he see the writing on the wall, kind of coming down the pipe?
I'm with you on that. Like, obviously we knew he was tired of the Kyrie stuff, but then there had to have been other shit. There had to have been other underlining issues. James Harden, for the most part, to my knowledge, hasn't had very many issues with his coaches throughout time. Not that I can remember, unless you guys can recall one. I can't remember one where he's literally disliked a coach. So I don't know if he was digging this Kyrie doing practices without the coach after that and, shit like that. But
And only playing half the games. I mean, that rubs people the wrong way, too.
it does, and still getting the pay for it. Whether we agree or disagree on why he was doing it, regardless, if you're doing it for a cause, then you should have probably said, you know what, take that money and donate it somewhere then or something. Like I'm not playing in the games. I don't deserve to pay for it.
Right.
When it comes to it's not because of injury,
Yeah.
Where was I going to go? Talked about that. I don't know if you guys saw that WNBA star Brittany Griner appeared in Moscow area court for trial on her cannabis charge 4.5 months after being arrested.
Yeah.
Detained.
Yeah, basically. She'll be there for a while.
There was
probably,
I do believe there's like an initial appearance, but 4.5 months before you go to court.
Yeah.
Speaking of Russia, did you see? I didn't see the video yet, but did you see Alexander Ovechkin over there playing soccer? Some sort of, I don't know if it was like true professional or not. Like I don't know if it was a semi-pro, but it was something like that, and he scored a goal.
All right.
It's one of the best off-season things to do because of the spatial awareness that you gain from playing soccer. Say hockey players play it, football players, so you can kind of, it's a good way to tell distance.
I didn't think about that. That makes sense. Plus, you're keeping the cardio up. You're staying in shape. Yeah.
Danny does ballet for his remote sales gig. Evidently, it helps center him.
I only learned ballet to make fun of the fairies down the road that did ballet, okay?
Yeah, what was that about the other guys?
Baby.
Yes.
Okay.
Damn good, too. We'll go with what I think is one of the bigger ones. And that is USC and UCLA, the two Pac-12 flagship programs, were notified Thursday night that their application to join the Big Ten has been accepted. The schools will begin playing the conference in 2024. The Big Ten said in a statement that the vote was unanimous when conference presidents and chancellors met on the addition of the two schools. Duh. You know, you didn't grab Oregon State in this. Yeah. You grabbed USC and UCLA. Mm-hmm. First off, initial thoughts. How's it help each conference?
To be clear, I want to make sure I read this right the other day. Just the basketball programs, though, right? Or is it the schools overall?
No, it's schools overall.
Okay,
so
I don't
football
remember what
too.
I read too. Okay. No, it's a big deal for the Big Ten. It's fucking huge. Really big hit for the Pac-12. But also, I saw a map earlier, and it just kind of made me think, like, the Big Ten's all, like, North, Central, and the East Coast. Those are the two schools. They're just out in BFE. So travel's going to be a little different.
41-hour bus ride if USC made the championship game in Penn State that year.
Let me give you a little something since you went down that rabbit hole right there, and I like it. We're thinking USC and UCLA traveling, and every game, but unless they play themselves, are going to have to travel, right? Think about Rutgers. What kind of money do they really bring in as a program? Now you have to travel quite possibly at least once a year over that way.
Yeah. You're
going to have to do it twice a year, bare minimum, for the most part. I mean, it's going to be a little different with 16 teams in the Big Ten now. But what we're forgetting is basketball. You travel twice a week a lot of times in basketball. Yeah. Right? While you're going to college, this is also student athletes. So you need to travel across the country once, maybe even twice that week, and still do your schoolwork on top of that. We're not talking about like a short little jaunt like what you guys just said. It was, what'd you say, 41 hours or whatever it was? But it's awesome for the Big Ten, but it hurts anyone from Iowa down. Because now you just made it. You're talking about USC, UCLA, not really intimidating yet, in the football especially. Basketball will help everything, but football, USC, Ohio State, Michigan State. It's not hurt anyone from like Iowa on down, I would assume. The winners of this, the very first thing that crossed my mind was Oregon. Now,
sort of.
Yes, I understand, but they can't lose a game now. I mean, when you lose two of your major conference.
Well, I'm going to go a different direction. I get where you're going. You think, okay, it's just open. They could take it every year now. Either they need to make a choice and go to a better conference, or the Pac-12 needs to try to do what the Big 12's doing and bring in some bigger schools. I don't know fucking who's left anymore to try to recruit to bring in, but I feel like all of a sudden we're going to see Oregon, I don't know, Washington, Stanford, like some of those other like next level schools moving and jumping ship real quick too. So Pac-12 is either done or they're going to have to add some shit, man.
What we've seen the last couple of years, what I'm seeing now is what they've been talking about, that we've been reading about for a couple of years now, and that is the super conferences are here. Where like you don't realize it, they may not have a name, but so the next legitimate move for the Pac-12, honestly, would be to join one of those other Power Fives, which isn't no longer a Power Five because it's SEC dominant. Big 12, yeah, they reloaded, but did they really?
Yeah.
We don't know. We'll see how they play when they get there, right? Like,
Yeah.
we don't know yet. And then you have the Pac-12, who just lost their two main money makers for sure, outside of Oregon maybe. I don't know what their dollar amount is, but I assume USC and UCLA are pretty far up there, right?
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, we always thought Pac-12 was already weak in talent, right? And this just makes it worse. So even if Oregon does go undefeated, it's not going to look great
Yeah.
for them come, college playoff, all that kind of stuff. So, it obviously hurts Pac-12. Great for USC and UCLA. I think this hurts everybody else in the Big Ten, though, as well. I mean, you talk on the recruiting trail, you can pitch kids now. Yeah, you can stay in South LA and fucking go and ball out in a big-time conference.
I was going to say, playing probably the second best conference now?
Yeah.
Definitely now, but
Yeah.
even debate. I mean, now you're
right.
Hey, now you're playing against the second best conference. You don't have to worry about the Pac-12, which everyone forgets about on the West
You've got a
Coast.
legitimate shot to play in, worthy conference championship game and actually make the college playoffs. In Pac-12, there's no sure thing because the conference was weak. So now you can throw that out on the recruiting trail. I think this is only going to help. Obviously, Lincoln Riley and stuff, they were already going bonkers on the recruiting trail. This only helps them, and I think they'll be at the top of the by the time they make it to the Big Ten, they'll be at the top of the Big Ten.
When
I think you're right, too.
When Ohio State lost when they lost one game a few years back, there was still actually it's happened twice, I think, here recently.
To
I'm
Iowa?
I'm just talking about when they just lose one game. It doesn't matter who the opponent is. I just mean when they lose one game. They're still in heavy consideration when the final, you know what I'm saying, for the final four playoff spots. They're always a consideration. So that I'm building on what you're saying, and I agree, and that only benefits a USC, especially. I'm like, hold on. You guys are still in heavy consideration for that spot, even after you lose a game, possibly to an unranked opponent. You still have a shot at that. Yeah, we want some of that action.
Yeah, Pac-12 is going to have to absorb or combine with the ACC or something, but, I mean, you look at the West Coast, East Coast, so there'll be travel there. They got to do something, or they're going to be in trouble, obviously, and I think this only, as well, looking further down the line, pushes for a college playoff expansion now. Being so many teams, so many good teams.
Going against each other regularly.
Right, and then you're going to have really weak conferences now, and then power conferences. So, say ACC is going to be bad, Pac-12 is going to be bad, the Big 12 is not going to be great. So you're basically looking at the SEC and Big 10. Well, every year you keep throwing a couple teams in from Big 10 and SEC, So I think this is we're staring at the college football playoff has to expand.
Man, that's a really good point. Best team in the Big Ten could end up with 2 losses. Same thing in the SEC, but they're going to get the nod over an undefeated
and
Pac-12
why?
team.
And the same argument that SEC's been making for quite a long time. I get that, but and why wouldn't they make that argument? Like, hold on, we're going against the top tier that there is in the nation.
Yeah.
Well, how is that fair that the Pac-12, let's say Oregon goes undefeated, they don't have to face literally anybody in 2024 after 2024 and on? They're facing, like I just said earlier, Oregon State or Arizona, and
Yep.
So
I mean, I still think the NIL situation is going to start leveling these teams across the board, but you're still going to have your powerhouses, and they're going to have to do something.
To kick back, I did forget to mention that the Celtics, under the radar because of the Rudy Gobert and all that stuff. I don't know if you guys saw that. Malcolm Brogdon was traded to the Celtics from the Pacers for peanuts.
Yeah.
The Pacers are getting a 1 first-round pick and 5 players from the Celtics, including center Daniel Tease and 2021 first-round pick Aaron Nesmith. Basically nothing. Didn't have to give away any part of their core, and not multiple first rounds. You gave away 1 first-rounder, and you got definitely a player of need.
Yeah, 100%.
Right? Let's see. We'll stick with the NBA, and that is on the eve of NBA free agency. Hornets forward Miles Bridges was arrested in L.A. for felony domestic violence against his wife. Did you guys by chance get to see the pictures and stuff?
He beat the shit out of her.
Yeah, it's not looking
Yeah, he'll be done in NBA.
like the word.
Concussion, broken orbital bone.
Both, yeah, that must be from both.
Yeah, just
Broken orbital probably gave her both the
broken
black
jaw,
eyes.
I think. Yeah, just
Beat the shit out of
Yeah.
him.
beat the shit out of her. Yeah.
Damn, no, I didn't see the pictures.
Yeah,
Not
I
good.
don't. It doesn't look good. I don't know. I assume probably done, and he's young. He was a leading scorer, by the way. I don't know if you knew that. Leading scorer for the Hornets last year.
Yeah, staring at a big time contract extension, and yeah,
Not today.
That definitely does damage to the Hornets, who we all have said are a very entertaining team to watch. You know, at bare minimum, and you know they can put some shit up. Well, that was one of the reasons right there was that guy. I do believe somewhere in here I didn't jot it down, but Zach LaVine got paid too, and I think it was actually a pretty decent one.
yeah.
He got paid good, but I actually think the Bulls needed to do that. That's just me personally. It was like $224 million or
He's
something.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What-
they had to do it. I was hoping I knew it wouldn't, but with Brunson going away from the Mavs, I was hoping one of these guys would sneak out. Looks like Colin Sexton's going to be available, so hopefully they'll go after him. But yeah, somebody they definitely need to re-sign.
I like Colin Sexton. Liked him coming out of Bama. And then they got, Darius Garland, and they got another cat, and then all of a sudden he just got kind of left on the back burner during that rebuild. Like, even though they had, 16, he was averaging, 16 points or something like that as a rookie. So, yeah, that'd be a nice piece. It's too bad he put a list. I'm actually a little shocked, and I'm not shocked all at the same time because I've made the statement before. We were talking about KD earlier. Why wouldn't he want to go to Dallas? Yeah, KD's always been okay, and he has been. This has been proven. He's always been okay with not having to have the ball. Like, he's not a facilitator anyways. He's always been okay with, being the guy that you kick it to, or he's trailing and he'll hit that deep-ass three.
It would be really fun with him and Luka.
Yeah,
I'm just surprised that he just, made the list so small.
I don't know if they have the ability pieces. I don't know what they have for,
They don't.
Yeah, I don't know.
They have the draft picks, I assume.
picks, sure.
Yeah, we owe one to the Nets. If it gets inside the top 10, I think, with the next 2 years. But, yeah, I don't know. Weird. I think wants to go somewhere he immediately pushes for a title contender. We can agree the Mavericks had a good run. But, yeah, I mean, obviously you looked at the Heat. They ended up 1 right in their conference. You look at the Suns. They're going to be up there as well on their side. So, and I do think he wants to play with Kyrie somewhere. I think he wants to go somewhere there. It's a possibility if he gets bought out or something that he can sign there and play as well.
The Blazers have to have some money, right?
And they just
They did pay
Gary
Nurkic
Payton,
and Gary Payton
Payton,
Jr. or
yeah.
the second, but they also paid Nurkic too.
yeah.
I
Who
know.
I swear only touches the court 50% of the time.
Right.
Or is that just me? I think he's getting 70 mil too over 4 years.
Yeah, I don't know.
So I'm just shocked that they don't hey. Blazers hey, we don't want to lose you, Damian. You're gonna be our franchise player or whatever, our face for our franchise for years, even after you're done. You're gonna be our poster guy on the outside because we believe you're Hall of Fame-esque in their opinion. I'm saying, give him every piece that you possibly could. We'll trade all these cats to you. We'll give you all the first rounders you want and bring them both in. I don't even care. Kyrie, you can sit on the bench. All we need is KD and Damian anyway, right?
Yeah, it seems like they're kind of doing what Cleveland did to LeBron for a while, and they just gave him just good enough pieces. Gary
Yeah.
Payton's fine.
Yeah,
Nurkic is fine. But there's nobody.
I agree with you. Gary Payton's a great complementary piece. Not in complementary in offense. He's a two-way player. He'll do whatever you want. He's a scrapper, shit like that. I would love for him to be on my favorite team or something like that as a piece, but that's
Right.
not anywhere near a title contender when all you're bringing to the table is Damian Lillard, right? Deshaun Watson's disciplinary hearing is over after 3 days. No timetable for ruling. They had a rule. They had a. I can't remember her name. I think it's like Susan or something like that. She was overlooking this independently or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But we're getting down the road. We're getting there. Is the point of this?
Finally,
of whatever it
but-
is. Yep.
Yeah.
I don't think the ruling will happen anytime soon, though.
No.
Yeah, I don't know. I think the first lady is going to be what gets them.
The one that didn't take any type of
The one that,
settlement or whatever.
Yeah, that's Erin, her statement, saying completely unwarranted, and basically she didn't do it again. Like, some of these girls went back again, she didn't, and she was, basically, rubbed one out on her and all over her without, basically asking.
So she
for
was
it or whatever.
legitimately scarred.
Yeah.
So it's like
Yeah.
I'm not settling because this is fucked up. Is
Yep.
what she's getting.
Yeah.
There was
at, right?
another one that also kind of seemed that way, but she ended up doing it, seeing him again, and I guess telling family members she would see him again. So that one, I don't know about that one, but the first one is going to be real tough to get rid of. So I still see a suspension coming at some point. I guess the NFL Players Association has kind of backed off their claim of trying to fight it wholly. I guess they're pushing for 8 games or less, and actually there was something coming out that they were already in discussions on trying to push for so last season treat it as a suspension because he didn't play, because he was on the exempt list or whatever. Treat it as a suspension. Give
So
him a
time
fine.
served.
Yes.
That's
Almost
what
like
they're trying to push for. Time
yeah,
served.
They're basically trying to push for time served and say he gets a couple more games this year. They're thinking, then that would be it, and then whatever fine they gave him in that way. So seeing them back off their stance of, hey, we're fighting this all the way. We're going to bring up Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Dan Snyder, to now almost settling themselves. Makes me think that there's, some stuff went on. That's probably, legitimately a problem.
So in the court of law, it just would have been really hard to prove. That's the reason why the charges were dropped. But there's enough info there to say this is really fucked up, and we're not gonna. I got you. Yep. We're not gonna. We can't back this, bro. We have the NFL can get more information than the federal government. I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
They bring in everybody. I mean, they bring in former FBI agents and shit, right?
Yeah.
I think unless they do a time served thing, because he was on the exempt list.
They can't.
They
could. If
No,
it
I'm
wasn't
not-
for
I'm-
the sake of
I'm-
public opinion.
Right, they wouldn't say that.
Yeah.
I just mean, it's got to be double digits, if not all year. But the punishment is even a punishment like that. Not money wise, you're killing his competitive nature. He's missing the games competitively, and that may bug him. But pay,
Right.
it's not even a punishment. Because what was it? What did we talk about? He loses $1 million.
Yep.
Yeah.
Look,
They're gonna find a creative way.
They got to punish. That's the reason why I'm gonna go back a little bit too. They have to punish the NFL teams. Now, whether it be the Browns or whether it be Houston, you have to set a precedent. Because especially if they're gonna do shit like that, I don't know how you tag the Browns. You should tag the Browns because they went around that and made that contract to where it's only $1 million, so he doesn't get punished for
Right.
missing it unless they try to come back for a contract. I don't know. It's just either way. Speaking of which, we'll keep with the Browns. Baker Mayfield says Cleveland Browns would have to reach out to reconcile, but both sides are ready to move on. I think we've been hearing that for forever anyway, but this came directly out of his mouth.
Got to figure something out, man. I don't know if the two teams that are really interested know how much Cleveland needs to get rid of him, so they probably aren't offering what they normally would.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Seattle should just do it. I mean, try not to give up much. Make them. They already said they'd eat more of the salary. Obviously,
Yeah.
Drew Lock is not going to be the answer. Not saying that Baker Mayfield will either, but
Because it's down to 2, right? Carolina
apparently still in it,
and
but
Seattle.
in Seattle, yeah.
There's I don't know. I don't understand what the Browns are trying to battle against this. If it was just like, because I know they were trying to get like what the salary. Obviously, they want the team taking them to pay the salary. Well, that doesn't look like it's going to happen, right? Just try to get as many picks as you can and still pay the man. You're going to foot it. You're going to have to, unfortunately. Then, because unless you're going to say, hey, we made a mistake and we're not going to go with Deshaun even after this, and you give him a bigger contract to Baker. Not bigger than him, but you know what I'm saying.
Well, they fucked up not moving him before all the quarterback pieces settled and they got Deshaun. If they'd moved him before that and just, hey, we're moving on, they could have got something. But now people know, okay, you paid Deshaun Watson a fuckload of money. You're playing this guy.
I feel like they're going to end up having to cut him just like they did OBJ.
Well,
this is so Brownsy.
It is. It is, but the fact that they haven't just dropped him.
Well, yeah, but
that's where I was about to go. It was like it was with the Steelers. The Steelers have scared you into not dropping him. You're letting them dictate you not dropping him. Now, I get the rest. Don't get me wrong. I'm not talking about financials, anything like that, dead cap. I'm not talking any part of that. But they literally looked you in the face and be like, we will pick him up and we will play him if you do it. The fuck you are. Like in my opinion, I'm just saying, like, I don't fear Baker Mayfield on the opposite side. Okay, pick him up. Play him, too. I hope you do. We know all of his strengths, his tendencies. We know the whole work. So you go ahead and you pick him up, and you play him, too, if you just want to be done with it. Obviously, maybe the financials are a little more into it, but it seems like Phoenix or the Steelers are like, drop him.
Dare ya?
I got you.
Yeah.
You know what? Let's give ourselves a little Hawkeye love.
There we go.
5-star offensive tackle Caden Proctor announced his commitment to Iowa football Thursday in a huge in-state recruiting win for the Hawkeyes. Proctor is the number 6 prospect overall in the 2023 class. He had narrowed it down about a month ago when I had talked about it, down from Alabama to Iowa.
Yep.
Now, I don't know if it was more the love of the state. He has some buddies there already. He has safety Nawaka that's from Southeast Polk also.
Yep.
You still got to work at Iowa, especially at offensive lineman. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't care if you're a 5-star now. It's awesome. But I don't know, maybe it's a little smoother than the 4 or 5-star offensive linemen that they have a bunch of down in Alabama that he'd have to go through. But he's a monster, too. I guess he has, like, all kinds of fucking trainers and all that. That's a big-time win.
Big-time win.
Yeah.
Rio, we got to take our win tonight. Texas has been getting this kind of shit for the last week. By the dozen, it feels like. So we'll take our one.
I would say by the daily over here. Let us get our one here. I don't know if you guys saw this on Twitter. You guys are more active in, like, the Twitter and Instagram stuff. But there was one of the Hawkeyes that we follow. He's like, well, this was a little too quick. And it was a screenshot of, like, Iowa State Barstool or somebody posted still the team in Iowa or something like that because it showed the.
Oh, still a Hawkeye State is what it said. Or not a Hawkeye.
No, still a Cyclone. There you go. Still a Cyclone State based off the rankings of the recruiting class. And then Proctor.
That changed things a little bit.
Yeah, that shoots it up a little bit.
Yeah, y'all jumped. I think y'all are top 15 now. Texas shot up to number 3 after.
And it's still not done.
It's still not done.
All
these, I don't know if you've seen, but, like, there's been probably 8 decommitments ever since Arch, whatever. Yeah, and then people are adding Texas to their top 3 and 5, like, after they redone them and added Texas in.
Man.
That John Tate Cook or whatever, he's got a cousin who's like a 4 or 5 star, and he's like, oh, he's coming here, I'll get him.
I'll get him?
Yeah.
Son
it's like,
of a bitch.
holy shit.
This guy. It's without. You know what? It almost feels like the one positive with watching your university get better, for me, I should say, is it kind of feels like more old school recruiting than the nil at this point now. We're jumping on because we see this player over here.
Yeah.
Not the, well, what can they give us? Because they would already came before that if it was purely about nil at that point, right?
Yeah.
It is literally, hold on, whoa, what we can do with this 5-star top, number one recruit in the class. I think that's what he is. Number one recruit in the class coming there at star quarterback with the name of Manning on the back end too.
Yeah.
It feels a little more old school recruiting than the NIL is what I'm trying to get at. That's what it feels like at least.
Yeah, big one. Number one tight end in the class too. Said playing with Arch would be fun. And
Shut the fuck up.
He's like, he said he's going to add Texas to his list to visit now.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
We'll touch some UFC.
You
gentlemen.
missed Zion. What do y'all think of Zion and his contract? He got paid.
I didn't see that.
Oh yeah, I don't think I saw
Zion
that.
got
either.
paid.
Did he?
Yes, he did.
Like what's paid? I'm trying to look at it.
230.
230?
Yeah, I believe.
What? How can he get 230 when he hasn't played a game? Don't you have to make like?
Yeah, I don't know.
So many.
He got crazy paid. Surprising. Definitely since he hasn't played that many. Many games.
I'm still not seeing it on there. I'm gonna flip on the NBA right there. I honestly didn't see that. Oh well, I guess I'm assuming there's so much activity going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's still not on here. Levine's 5-year, $215.
Yeah, pull up the Pelicans page on
Pelicans?
ESPN. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't know. I personally wouldn't have done that.
For
you don't know if
the
this man's
franchise?
If I
As
ran
the
the
franchise?
franchise, I would not have done that. No, it's too risky, man.
Yeah, monster $231 million deal with the Pelicans. I think it's risky. Like the only thing that they have going for them, in the sense that I believe in the sense of that is that they have their doctors looking over this. They have outside experts coming to look at it, and I understand the foot is the most, especially in NBA, it's the most unpredictable one after you have already had the issue, especially when it comes to like the stress fractures and shit like that.
Right.
They had to talk to their doctors, right? Like in every expert possible, like the odds had to have moved so far above 50% that they're like, all right, well, we feel comfortable enough to give him, what did you say, 231 mil?
Well,
I wouldn't
I wouldn't have either, but I think they were kind of stuck. I think you look at, we lowball him, he gets pissed, and then he eventually walks, and you don't get shit for him. And other teams won't give you anything for him because they know.
Because they're uncertain.
Uncertainty. They know that he's not going to re-sign. So the next thing you do is just offer him. You kind of got to eat it, I think.
Yes, I think they should have at least explored a sign and trade. See what they could have drawn back. Maybe wait, because that one must have just happened not that long ago, right? Or did that happen yesterday? Because it didn't come across here.
I think it was sometime today.
Was it sometime today? So
I don't know. There's been so much going on.
There's been so much like flooding in,
since.
so I don't know when it actually did. I thought I vaguely seen something like not on here, but on my phone when it came across, but it just got flooded with everything else after that, so I didn't really actually read that one. Especially after you seen what Gobert brought in. Would you have done it for 4 first-round picks?
Oh, it got signed. He got done before Gobert.
Was it before Gobert?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So that kind of hurts a little. If they would have waited a couple minutes, you know what I'm saying? Just kind of wait that out and see that the Gobert one happened for 4. Because would you take 4 first-round picks for him?
Yeah.
Would you let that go?
I don't know, because the Pelicans have been bad for a while, right? They finally they made playoffs this past year.
Yeah.
With
right?
a losing record.
Right, without Zion playing. So now you're okay. We put the bet on Zion being healthy with what we have. Maybe we do make a playoff run.
So you would just stick with him then?
I think so. I think
versus 4 first-round picks,
right? You
should say,
because you've already how long you've been in this shit?
Yeah, absolutely. You've been drafting.
Yep.
I got you.
If you think you're kind of close, which they probably do, they got in.
I believe they are if you have a healthy Zion. Yeah. If you're able to do that without Zion, and then you bring him in, because we've watched him play. The kid is special.
Yeah.
And he has a. I'm not saying a good. He just has a decent 3-point shot that hopefully he can build up on. It looks goofy. He kind of plays like a little wild man, but he still puts up what you need. He could be that difference. He could make you competitive.
Right,
competing.
and that's why I wouldn't do it if you. I mean, if you're a team on the, you were looking at, man, we're probably not going to be great next couple years. Yeah, let's do it. We're already going to be looking down the road.
Let me change your proposal. So 2 firsts and a solid piece to add to the team, a piece that could be part of your core. I think that's a better option.
Yeah, you'd have to get something that would contribute, right?
Because all you need, they took Phoenix, they took your boys' team 7 games in the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
All they needed was a piece to be there. And if I was them, I would not have enough faith that Zion would actually be there to help them get over that hump. He could if he was there for sure.
Yeah. That piece would have to be, first off, you'd have to sell me on the fact that I believe, or that I already do believe, that it's a budding superstar. Like, you haven't seen it yet, but I believe that he's going to become that. Otherwise, I'm going to roll the dice with, like, me picking him off the 4 first-rounders if I'm going to do it. But I actually lean more towards keeping Zion at that cost. It would have to be more than 4.
Yeah, you just there's verbiage.
And no team's giving up more than 4. I can't believe 4 was given up for Gobert.
Yeah.
That was dumb.
Maybe there's verbiage that says he's got to like maintain weight better or some shit like that, because if he maintains the weight that he's at and playing the style that he plays, it's inevitable that he's going to get hurt again. It's just a fact, right? So if he gets in shape, things change and he could be more durable, but I haven't seen proof of that yet, man.
Yeah. Kick over to some UFC. Daniel Cormier and Khabib were inducted into the UFC Hall of Fame Thursday inside the T-Mobile Arena. Especially you two. Favorite moment from each one in their career, watching them.
So Cormier, probably when he won the Strikeforce belt way back in the day, that was pretty cool to see, especially a wrestler going into, Strikeforce was a thing and much more, I think, violent and brutal back then. There were certain strikes there that you could use, so that was cool. And then Khabib probably beating Conor McGregor and derailing the hype train. I think that
I knew that. I had a feeling that one was coming.
I just think that was
It
was such a moment, not only for him, I think, but also for the UFC, right? The UFC was riding Conor. Cash cow. Conor looked unstoppable.
I'm gonna go with and go on top of that with he made it look like there's absolutely no goddamn doubt I'm the best that there is at this sport right now, in the dominating fashion, which he took care of business, right? Like, there's no doubt that I am. Because there's always reservations, right? There was always, we talked about, like, in his past, like, what was it? Either missed weight or whatever it was, like, fights that were getting canceled. He never fought anybody up through his first, like, 17 fights for the most part, like, or whatever it was. So there was always that argument, right? Now you took on one of the UFC's biggest star at that point, and you did it in dominating fashion, right?
Yeah, so for DC, he always played second fiddle to John Jones, right? So when Jones was out and DC won, and he had both of those belts, it seemed like he always did things the right way. We'll say right in quotes. Seemed like a good guy, so how emotional that was for him, that was pretty cool. And then for Khabib, probably I'm not going to say one fight, but the fights that he had after he beat the shit out of Conor, to prove that nobody could touch him, whether it was Dustin or Justin Gaethje. I think there was one more in there maybe. But how he dominated everybody to that point. You could, like you said, you could argue at least the first half of his fights were just kind of bogus. But there was no doubt for the last, 5 years of his career, nobody could touch him. So, yeah.
Right, not even any showed over that. You guys are more students of it than I am, but you could definitely tell over the last few years that he showed. I'm not just a wrestler. There was a couple fights where he stood and banged with guys too, to show that I can murder you this way too.
Yep.
So, keeping with the UFC though, former UFC star Cain Velasquez sues man he allegedly tried to kill over accusations of molesting his 4-year-old son. This is at a daycare, by the way. The dude that he tried to kill, him and his wife own a daycare, and that's how. Which I didn't know it was like a daycare provider. I thought it was like a relative or whatever the fuck down the road. But yeah, it's like a daycare provider.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Can't do anything you can. He's kind of stuck there, so might as well.
The worst part is he's in like one of the worst states to. Aren't they trying to like?
Yeah.
Someone was telling me like they were trying to like make it to where, kitty diddling is like a love action, not a or some bullshit like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you don't get arrested over there anymore. You just do what you want.
Yeah.
So he's suing him. So is the old boy not in prison?
No.
At all. Like
no. As in, you're talking the dude he tried to
like
shoot.
it's done and he's not going to prison.
No, Kane's still in prison.
No, the other dude.
The other dude's not in jail.
Yeah, he's like
he was fighting
bail
his
or
court
something,
case, I
yeah.
guess, but he's
That's
out on
what I was
bail. Yeah, he's out on
Okay.
bail.
Okay.
Yeah, you can be out on bail for that, but like you try to actually shoot him for like touching your kid, then you go to jail and you sit there without bond. Yeah, world we live in.
Speaking of that, you see R. Kelly got 30 years?
No.
30 years, bro.
30
Trafficking.
Years. Yep.
It's one sick individual.
Yeah, so I heard something interesting the other day that, he was married to like a 15-year-old, right?
Yeah, because she was pregnant.
Yeah, and
she
he
was pregnant.
couldn't get her to get an abortion unless he was married or something.
Yeah.
So that I didn't know that's why he married her, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she died in a plane crash.
I didn't know that.
When
Okay.
She was 22. Yeah.
Holy shit. Yeah, 30 years.
I could never grasp the concept of being with an underage person ever. Like, I don't get it. There's so many beautiful females out there in the world anyway that are goddamn adults. I don't get how this is how that's a thing.
Yeah.
I guess it's a sick mind twist. I guess you'd have to be missing a circuit, right?
Right.
Like, you're telling me there wasn't someone, you guys are talking about the 15-year-old. You're telling me there was someone that didn't look almost like her, because I don't know what she looks like, full figure, the whole works, basically down to a T, but of legal age?
Yeah. I don't know. I think a lot of this stuff needs to get fixed. You see guys like Cain Velasquez, right? He was diddling a kid and he's out walking free, but you have a guy who is...
Well, the dude he was targeting.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying, the guy that was.
Yeah. Well, you said. I think you said just Cain Velasquez. I'm like,
no.
whoa.
The guy he tried to kill, he was like diddling kids or whatever, and he's walking free. But then you have and it's a fine line. But there's maybe a guy I know I've heard who's 18, his girlfriend's 17, right, and gets in trouble because they're still having relations, obviously. But then he gets his whole life run because of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know. And it's like, okay, come on. Like,
where are we with common sense?
Right, exactly.
Right? Where are we at in the world with common sense? That's what it seems like. Because we know a guy.
There's some stuff that's sick, and there's some stuff like that.
Right.
18-year-old and 17-year-old, they're obviously been.
Right, doesn't need to be clear cut, like black and white. It needs to be just like, let's use some common sense here.
Right.
We know a guy that was running in high school. He was like 17, 18. Or I think he was just 18. As a dare at a party, ran across the street butt naked. Yep. Now it's on the sex offenders list.
Yep.
I don't know if I'm not trying to see his shit or anything like that, but at the end of the day, it was a high school bet thing. You're going to put him on a list for, you know what I'm saying? Just for streaking. Right. It's streaking.
You know, we're all judgy, so we're not going to know the full story. We're going to be like, oh, shit. That guy's on the list,
Yep.
Was it? Well, finish NFL, and then I have two baseball ones for you. NFL and Ice Cube team up for Economic Equity Initiative for Black-owned businesses. NFL also hires David Highhill as first executive dedicated to sports betting business. I don't know if there's anything you really want to partake in that one. Just some more of an informational type of thing there.
Yeah.
You knew the sports betting one was, I'm surprised it actually didn't happen a little sooner. There's so much potential money-wise there.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's almost like legalizing pot in Colorado when it first happened. Like how much money is, yeah.
Yep.
Legalized gambling, now you can do it from your phone, and how much money it brings in, revenue, and it's just a little surprising it took that long. To baseball, though. We'll save a bigger one for the last one. California agency on Thursday cleared way for the Oakland Athletics to continue planning a $12 billion waterfront ballpark project. The San Francisco Bay Conservation and Development Commission voted 23-2 to reclassify a 56-acre terminal at the Port of Oakland as a mixed-use arena where a new ballpark can be built. So it looks like they have a shot of keeping their team.
They can't fill the fucking seats.
Thank you. Thank you.
Just dumb.
Yeah.
Waste some money.
Go to Vegas.
Why not?
Everyone's jumping. Everyone's going to Vegas. They're making their. I don't know how well they fill seats and everything. I haven't looked at any of that or outside of the NFL. They're going to fill their seats anyways, right? For
Yeah,
the most
I think
part.
so. Yeah.
For the most part, but all the rest, I'm like, I don't know how the hockey team fills theirs or like how they're doing, but I imagine it's probably not bad. Like if we go out to Vegas again, I probably wouldn't mind catching a pro game of some kind, right?
Right.
So we went out there. I don't think there was a pro team out there.
Not yet, no.
So, but it's still a waste of money for
It's a lot of money.
Oakland,
too.
right?
A
Yeah.
lot of money for Oakland, yep.
Kind of a shithole too. You ever seen the Oakland? With all due respect.
Mm-hmm.
With all due respect. Agent Casey Close accused the Braves of perpetuating a false narrative regarding the departure of first baseman Freddie Freeman from the organization. Mind you, real quick, before I continue with that, he fired the agents and the representation after he found out, after they did came back to Atlanta, must have talked to some of the Braves organization, like, why am I still not here? You know, the emotional shit that I was telling you about. Well, Doug Gottlieb accused Close in a tweet of withholding the Braves' final offer from Freeman. In a previous statement, Close called a wholly inaccurate characterization and said XL Sports is evaluating all legal options to address the reckless publication of inaccurate information. There's a big, longer explanation of all this, and he's highly offended, as in Casey, the agent, that they've always stood by there. They've always given every information that they possibly could, and we try to take care of our clients in the best way possible.
Yeah.
So I don't know which side I'm on this one.
Yeah, I'm with the agent. You know, I think it's weird it comes out right after he goes back, gets a standing ovation, gets his ring, you know, the whole works when he goes back to Atlanta. I think the emotions, you know, maybe played on him like, shit, man, I made a wrong decision. I probably should have been here. And if he really wanted to be there, I think he's in that conversation at the talks. I don't think he has no talks at all, you know, with them.
So you did hear the part where supposedly that Close gave the Braves a deadline, like whatever. Let's say it was 5 year. It doesn't matter. $200 million. I can't remember what the amount is. 5 years, $200 million, or 6 years, $210 million. Basically, a discount for the 6. And you had 24 hours, or how many hours it was. I'm with you. I actually think it's organization, because you guys don't think it's funny that right after that, after they moved on, they
went for Olsen, yeah.
Yeah, and then paid that man.
Yeah, paid him way more. I mean, I think it was 8 years, but yeah, no, I think it was. Yeah,
I'm leaning more towards the organization on this one. I think they were looking for their out, and they came up with some shit there. Then they get the emotional Freeman coming in, and like he comes up to the office maybe when they come back.
Right, because I think they got Olsen. I think he's 2 or 3 years younger.
Mm-hmm.
Freeman's 31, I believe. I believe Olsen's 28. So younger guy, I think, you know, a 6-year contract for a guy who's already 31. Granted, he was playing at MVP caliber level. I think they were, you know, they only wanted 5. He wanted 6. And, yeah, I just, I don't believe that whole story.
It'd be so rare. I believe I'd be so rare. Because why would you roll the dice for the rest of your... I'm talking about the agent. I don't think the agent will withhold that. Why would you put your reputation on the line for the rest of your... Because as soon as your other clients find out that you withheld something, you know what I'm saying? Like the rest of them, they're like, hold on, you did that to Freddie? You know, like, how do I know you're not withholding one that maybe I would have wanted to stay where I was at and you withheld that?
Yeah.
You know, maybe we're only $2 million apart and you didn't even ask me, and I'm like, hey, I'll eat $2 million.
Yeah.
I don't think the agent would do that. Not at the reputation of his own firm. What are you thinking, Danny?
Yeah, it kind of seems like a combo, right? Like, Freddie wanted 6. The agents gave him that deadline. Maybe they were considering it, but they didn't meet the deadline. The agent said no.
The agent said he
6.
never gave a deadline.
Yeah.
The agent said he didn't.
The agent said we never gave a deadline. That came from the Braves organization saying that they did.
So it depends on if that's true.
Basically, the Braves said they waited.
That's what I'm saying. Which
deadline.
side are you on this one? Because it is very clear cut. One is saying that it did happen. One saying that is not how it happened, and this is not how it went in any way, shape, or form. That's why I was asking you. Which one do you feel is telling the truth, or what has more to lose in that aspect too?
Well, the agent has way more to lose, right? Atlanta doesn't have shit to lose at this point.
Yeah.
But I think either way, Freddie didn't have all the information.
I think he
might have been willing to be like, all right, let's sign 5 and see if I can get an extra year later. You know, I think he might have been willing if that's all they were able to do, because he wanted to stay there. But
could it also be buyer's remorse for him? Like, I'm trying to give
Definitely.
I'm giving
Definitely
Freeman
could
a pass myself, but
Definitely
maybe
could
it's buyer's remorse.
Yeah.
You know, like, you know what? I'm not settling. I'm worth this. I just got you a World Series, and I was the best player on that team, and this, that, and the other, and you want to insult me with this. I'm going to go over here, and then all of a sudden you see all the love you got, and you come back, and the emotions and shit, and like, oh, no, I never wanted to leave.
Sure.
You know, I could see that too. I'm gonna go with, I believe it's actually the organization, because you had no problem like 2 seconds later, maybe even the works before that, and we don't know. You had, what would you say, Matt Olson? Is that his name? Matt Olson coming over, and then you signed him right away. Add to a big-time, long-term contract.
Yeah, it's that post-nut clarity coming to the forefront. You know, he's like, oh, man, staring at dollar bills. You know, you're a free agent. Whatever works out, and then you're like, shit, man, I should have stayed. You know,
Yeah.
Instead of going for one more year.
And that's what I got, gentlemen. Do you guys have any other news that like I said, there was so much, I probably missed something.
No, UFC pay-per-views tomorrow night. I know Rio and I talked about our picks over the weekend. We got Izzy and Strickland, right?
No, Izzy and Cannonier. Can he?
Oh shit! I was watching a video earlier.
Yeah, they got into it. They got into it about whatever, but
okay, you're right. Yeah, Izzy and Cannonier, and then Sean O'Malley.
Yeah, and Pedro Munoz.
Yeah, so those are kind of the big fights besides Max Holloway.
Yeah.
You guys made your picks then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't remember what you guys said. Like I said, I listened to it. I can't remember who your guys' picks were. You're also forgetting another one.
Okay.
Sean O'Malley?
I
The
said
man?
that.
Oh, you did say
Yeah.
that. Okay, just say the man.
I don't
all
know
you
about
gotta
that. But, all right. The undefeated, he says, right?
15-1.
He said he calls.
Oh,
himself
he calls
undefeated.
himself undefeated.
Yeah.
What happened? What am I missing there? Why does he say that?
He got injured, I think, and so he got technically TKO'd or something like that.
A stoppage or something?
I think so, yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So he's facing Pedro. Got to go Sean O'Malley on that one, right? So I'm going to go Sean O'Malley. I'm going to... I know you guys are huge on him, Robbie, but... Brian Barberino. Barberino.
Yeah, if you look at the prelims and the early prelims, there's some big names on those. We talked about that, too.
Oh,
You're
that's
like,
it.
how the fuck?
That isn't on prelim. That's on the main card.
Oh, God. Did it get moved?
Yeah.
It was on the prelim.
It was prelims.
It's
yeah.
right here.
Yeah,
it's
it
right
was-
above Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley is the first fight of the main card.
Okay.
Yeah, it was prelim Sunday or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did see that. That's one part I did remember hearing about because you guys thought it was crazy, and because Donald Cerrone also is on the prelims, which you're not used to seeing that. Then I'm gonna roll with. I know Holloway's fighting at a different level right now. He's like rejuvenated. He's fighting pretty violent. But Volkanovski is one nasty motherfucker, man. When we watched that, was that out at Luke's? That was right. That was out
Yeah.
at Luke's, and he just he murdered him.
Oh, yeah.
That was
But
Korean Zombie.
shouldn't have been fighting.
He
He stepped in.
I know, and he stepped in. I get it. But even the fight before that, when he fought, it feels like this one's hard because I want Max to do it. You know.
To be clear, this is going to be like one of the best fights of the year probably. But when we talked about this, we both agreed we were betting with our hearts on that one. Like, this is who we wanted to win.
Yeah.
Volkanovski's so good, though.
So you guys both went Max?
Yeah.
I'm going to ride with it, too. The reason why I'm going to ride with it because I just wanted to – he's been playing – like I said, he's been fighting so damn well and almost seems like a different level. I understand what Volkanovski is. He's a machine. It looks like a machine out there just fighting. That's what it looks like when I'm watching it. I'm going to go with it. I'm going to go with a little bit of that slipperiness, that little bit of swag, I guess. Not the machine in that one. I'll ride with that one. And then this one's – I'm not going against Adesanya. That's just not going to happen.
Yeah.
The only thing that always shocked me, I can't remember if I brought this up. I did not know, because and I could be mistaken here, isn't Usman under a weight class?
Yeah.
That's what I thought. You're right. We talked about this. I'm like, you look at these two,
So
and you
big,
would
it doesn't
not
make
think
sense.
anything like that. I'm like,
Yeah.
how is this even possible, right?
Yep.
But no way, shape, or form is Israel losing this. Now, if I had to hold a reservation against that, would be it isn't like he was extremely impressive in his last fight, right, Israel?
Yeah.
He won, but I'm not saying he didn't win, obviously, but you know what I mean?
Seems like it's almost every other fight where he's either on or he's off. He barely skates by or he dominates somebody.
Kind of like what John Jones feels like to me nowadays. Like, I'm a Jones guy, have been, but it isn't like his last, 5 fights have been extremely impressive.
Yeah.
You know, not one where you're feeling like he should be dominated. Though his most dominating was probably Cormier.
The John Jones one, I think, though, is he spends so much time out of the octagon. He don't fight as near as much anymore.
Yeah. So
ring
he has
rust
to
is a real deal. So
getting
he's
rid of that
gotta-
ring rust and
I mean, he spends a lot of time out of the octagon, so that's what I'm chalking that up to. And I do agree, he doesn't look good all the time. But every time he's out for a year and a half, 2 years before he.
and he's
fights
always taking on the the
Right.
best
Yep.
when he does come back into it
Yep.
too.
Speaking of that, so Dana said he's ready. The fight is either going to be Francis or Stipe.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
That's
Stipe.
a hell of a fight to come to.
It's got to be Stipe,
moving
right?
up a weight class and not fighting after, what are we looking at, 3 years now?
Yeah.
Yeah,
or
but
better?
It's got to be
Like
Stipe
that.
though, right? Isn't
Stipe.
Francis going through?
Out until next year, I
Yeah.
believe. So.
But even still, either one of them, Stipe.
Stipe might be the GOAT in that weight class, dude. So that's
no,
small
absolutely
feat, man. Stipe's a stud.
going up weight class too.
Yeah, dude. Telling you.
Jones is a special athlete. It's just when you haven't been in there for so long, and then you're also going up somewhere where you're not used to being at.
Mm-hmm.
Right, dude.
We'll see how that goes.
What do you got for weird laws, man?
I do have one for you. We're gonna stick with New Jersey yet. It is illegal in Newark to sell ice cream after 6 p.m. unless the customer has a note from his doctor.
Do you have your prescription, sir? What the fuck?
6 p.m. Hold on. We all have kids at ball, right? Play baseball.
Yes, dude.
What time are games done? What time are your guys' games done?
Like 7.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So now you can't take them out for ice cream afterwards?
Is that covered under insurance, you think? You gotta have a
Doctor's note?
Yeah.
It had to be.
Ooh. Ice cream could go towards your deductible because that's all anybody has anymore is those fucking huge deductibles. Let's go.
Yeah. And that's what I got.
Boom.
Boom. Do we have any questions tonight, Big Dog?
Yeah, sure.
Let's do it.
All right, tonight on Rio's Randoms. First up, what's one celebrity you wish you could switch lives with for a day?
The Rock. That's where I'm going.
That's too busy for me. That dude is busy.
How's the sex with
Give
that
a
guy?
Fuck. God, I don't know. I think he has a wife, but I don't know how real that is. Like, he's got to be kind of Tiger Woods in it, right? Just out there.
He don't have time to fuck, guys. I'm telling you, this dude is in every movie. He owns he's part of XFL ownership. He has, he's
Tequila.
Tequila. He is everywhere. This dude don't have
True.
time. So if he
But
does
he's
have a
so-
wife, girlfriend, I have no idea. He ain't slinging that very
So
often.
big and strong. It probably feels like rape, though. If you're on the
Oh,
other
fuck
side.
yeah, it's a gorilla fucking you? No. Not interested.
Get off of me. He's just sweating.
It's like a gorilla
Right.
fucking me.
You feel
No,
like-
but all right. So,
Holding you down.
so I'm gonna pick him, and I'm taking the fucking day off. All right, that's what I'm doing. You've sold me on these too busy, so I'm taking the day off.
Take
This
the
is
day
his
off?
one day off in 10 years. You know.
Oh man. I don't know. Like, if I want to, it depends on what type of mood I'm in. I guess, like, I actually think it'd be kind of comical to see the craziness that came out of Amber Heard. So Johnny Depp for a day would have been back in the day. Would have been all right
yeah.
because like you can't believe some of the shit till you came out into court, right? Like chick shit in the sheets, right?
Ooh, what's that comedian's name? Pete.
Oh yeah, Kim Kardashian's.
Yeah, that might be the one. He's just slanging. It doesn't matter.
slanging that thing.
Yeah.
Well, then if we're gonna ride that, then I'll go Travis Barker for going
Oh
with.
shit! All right.
No, but I'm gonna ride with for real. I just had the name before you distracted me with that part. Yeah, you know what? Now you threw my mindset off. I forgot now.
You'll think of it.
I'll think of it. Go ahead, Rio.
Probably Kevin Hart. I always listen about him talk about like he gets up, works out, whatever, and then he does his own podcast, and there's like 10 people on the podcast. And he's always meeting people and doing whatever. Maybe I catch a day he's gonna do a small show,
You help
or
me.
a movie.
You help me.
That'd be cool.
And the person I was thinking, Burt Kreischer.
Oh shit! Yeah.
Okay.
Because I don't know if there's anything that he could do or anything that I could do like replacing him. That'd be more embarrassing than something he's already done in his life anyways, right? And like everything, he has to meet a bunch of cool people and be lighthearted about shit. His wife seems pretty cool. She deals with that shit.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah.
we'll ride that one.
I like it.
Number 2 on Rio's randoms. What's one thing you wish you could add to your daily routine?
Daily routine?
Yeah.
Fucking.
Okay.
Yeah, banging's a good one.
Hold on, Shalot. Yeah, banging's a good one.
That's probably top of the list. Let's see, what would number 2 be? Man, having enough stocks to where you're fucking constantly watching how your fucking money grow or drop or whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
That'd be cool. I'd like to do like a polar plunge, like and like a sauna. I hear tons of people do that.
The rotate, yeah.
And it just makes you feel energized, make you feel. I wonder what that would be like.
Like flipping between freezing cold and a sun and
A lot of people do that.
A
Yeah.
lot of people do it.
Yeah.
Say it's amazing. Gets the blood flowing, fresh blood going.
Let's find a spot. I'm down.
Let's
I'll
do
try
it.
it.
Let's do it. Let's try it.
Yeah. Jimmer,
Fucking-
you're in.
Let's try it
Fuck
for
no.
a fucking day.
oh
Let's do
no,
it.
you guys, no.
We gotta
I
bring
jumped in
swim
that.
trunks?
I jumped in that cold ass
We gotta bring
fucking
swim
lake.
trunks this time, or what's the
Underwear. Only.
underwear? Okay.
Saturdays only.
Saturdays, baby.
What you got?
That was it.
That was it.
Oh, that was
What's
3?
yours? Yeah. No, it's yours.
I already did. I said fucking.
Oh. Okay.
I was being dead
His
serious.
is the heat to the plunge, the
Okay.
cold plunge.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
No, I was just
okay.
like I want that to be my normal daily
Okay.
routine.
And last up, would you rather know the date of your death or the cause?
Cause. I don't want to know when. Like then you'd be counting down days. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know. I can go both ways, I guess, because like I don't know if I want to know the cause either. Because now you're gonna avoid. If you tell me a car crash, I'm avoiding all vehicles. We're moving out in the middle of nowhere. There ain't gonna be anything motorized anywhere around me.
But then you know that one time you go to use the car, you're gonna get fucked up.
Yeah.
I'm going date. I want to know when.
You know. Oh.
Wait, like if it's gonna happen, we're fucking living it up till that point.
Okay. Okay.
You know what I'm saying?
Actually, you swapped my mind right there. I didn't think about that part. I was just like, I don't want to live. You know what? All right. If I knew the date, I know what my deadline is, baby. I might be late for it.
Yeah. Fucking, I gotta go the day because, yeah, it'll be counting down the time, but imagine if you know the cause. Like, yeah, these people break into your house, they tie you up, they fucking put stuff in your butt, they fucking,
Whoa.
right? And then they light you on fire, and then you're just like, fuck.
Fuck. Those Cheetos?
Oh, my
What the fuck is going on over here?
I
got
said
the
some Buffalo Bills
jalapeno
shit.
Cheetos. What the fuck?
No,
At
see,
least get the pubs.
what I'd be worried about if you know the cause, is it going to be like Final Destination where it gives you a hint? Like you see a shadow of a fucking hanger and you're like fucking all of a sudden, get rid of the hangers. We're fucking, you know, like, or is it real,
Living in
like,
fear.
detail? Yeah, dude.
Okay. I got that. If you knew the date, then you wouldn't be living it. You already know what the deadline is.
I'm just going to bed that day. Like,
Yeah.
whatever happens, I'm sleeping.
Yeah.
Fuck it.
Yeah.
We're gonna sleep this day off.
Yeah.
And that's what I have for Rio's Randoms tonight.
Boom.
So, Gilligan's Island.
Gilligan's Island. That's right. You remember it all by yourself?
Yeah. So,
You got a notepad over there hidden?
well, it was funny. His story the other day about being out in the canoe or whatever actually kind of made me think of it, and then I could not bring it back into my head. But so I'll give you the backdrop. So me and the old ex-wife, we are down somewhere. I don't know where exactly, but on a beach. And we decide, hey, it'd be pretty cool if we took like kind of like a sailboat thing out and just, you know, went around and checked some shit out, whatever. Seems easy. We saw some other people doing it. We're like, that doesn't
No
seem bad.
experience. And
No experience. Zero. Okay. Fucking negative, if anything, experience.
Right.
Right. If you think you know what you're doing, you don't. Well, so we get on this. So all there is the, I don't know, whatever that catches the wind, and then like the
sail.
sail and the fucking like rudder or whatever, right?
Okay.
That helps you with the direction and shit. And so we start getting out there, and we're yeah, that's how much I know about this, Rio. Okay, so I don't know what this shit's called, dude. And so we get out there a little bit, and we're going. We're using the rudder, and we're kind of fucking moving, trying to change direction. And we get far enough out where I'm like, all right, let's start turning it to bring it back in, whatever. And it got kind of tough, and I fucking pulled on it, and it broke. It straight up just broke right there when we were going. And we were pretty far out by that point anyway, right? And so we're fucking, oh my God, what do we do? You know, and we're fucking sitting there. We tried to yell, nobody heard us, whatever. And we keep going. And it felt like hours. But it was probably like 10, 15 minutes. We kept fucking going, and shit's getting smaller and smaller. And I'm like, we're going to die. Like, we're gonna fucking legit die out here. Like, I don't know. And I started thinking, I'm like, well, what do they do on Gilligan's Island? Like, I can't build a fucking house out of trees and shit. Like, I don't know what to do. And so we're freaking out, and we don't know what the hell's going on. And this boat must have been just close enough. It was like one of the tourist boats or whatever. And we fucking yelled, and somebody happened to look, and they saw us. And I'm like, get the fuck over here. Like, because we're about to get past the point of no return, right? Like, we're about to be just out in the ocean, gone.
Yep.
And they come out finally, and they fucking rope us up or whatever, and they pull us in. And we get in, and we're like hearts pumping and everything. We're like, oh my God, we survived this. Like, what the fuck? That could have been really bad. Well, we go talk to the people, and we're like, hey, that thing, the rotor's broke, or the rudder, whatever the hell it's called, is broke. So you probably don't want to give that to somebody else. And the guy's like, yeah, the last people had problems with that too. That might be the one that cracked. And I'm like, hold the fuck on. I'm like, that one that cracked? And he said, well, yeah, it seemed fine when we brought it out. We tested it and everything seemed fine. I'm like, are you fucking kidding me?
Hold on. That's a little deja vu from the fucking bachelor party when they said they ripped the bottom off that bitch. We already knew about it. What?
Yeah, I'm like, hold on.
People in boats, shady.
Dude, all of them are shady.
It must be so expensive to repair something on a damn boat that they just like, oh, no, it's still floating. It's good.
Yeah, it'll be fine. It'll be fine. They're not going to die. Yeah, we could have. Very easily. I felt it. Like, Jesus.
So when was this? Was this before the Tom Hanks movie?
No. Tom's Hanks, that was like 90s, right?
Maybe late 90s, early 2000s.
Yeah, so it was after that.
It was after that?
Probably mid-2000s, yeah.
Okay. So you should have got a pretty good survival kit from watching that movie then.
Should have. Yeah, did not.
You're sitting there like, what am I gonna do?
Yeah, dude. Legit. Heart just jumping out of your chest. I'm like, we're
You
going
didn't
to
watch The
die.
Office. I got the Holy Bible, or I got the encyclopedia, hollowed out inside, waterproof matches.
Damn it. Yeah, so I guess words of wisdom, learn how to fucking run a sailboat, first of all.
Don't just jump into something.
Check that boat out. Make sure there's nothing cracked. Especially if you're going to a touristy spot. They're just looking to make money. They don't give a shit. But yeah, definitely makes sense.
If you don't think about it. Yeah. Damn.
Well, for you beautiful people out there that found us on the interwebs somewhere, we definitely would appreciate a subscribe, like, share. Give us a rating on whatever platform. And those platforms are what, Jimmer?
Anywhere and everywhere you could possibly think of. Spotify, Apple, Amazon, YouTube. And everywhere else in between.
Yeah, everywhere. So check it out. YouTube's a big deal right now. We've got our digital editor here really making shit happen. So you're going to enjoy the videos even more. So shout out to Colleen there for helping us out with that. And we love to tell stories. Every show you hear some kind of story, even if it's random shit in between. But if you've got something you want us to share, go ahead and slide on in.
To our DMs, get us that story. We'll get it out to all the folks that want to hear it. We can omit names if you need to, but we love a good story, and so does everybody else.
Absolutely. You been using any workout apps recently, Rio?
Yeah.
Why would you insinuate that?
Well, his arms, like, are
They're
filling out his shirt a little bit
looking
more.
pretty good.
Yeah.
All
tight.
natural. All natural.
Might have to go down a
natural.
size and shirt just to pulp them even more.
I checked and seen if they had a smaller one. They didn't.
You have to start going to youths, bro.
What movie, hold on, before you go out with it, what movie is that?
Transformers. He's like, is that the smallest shirt they had? He's like, no, I checked.
Yeah, that's what it is. No, we checked. Go ahead.
Fitbod, if you're looking for a workout app that keeps track of workouts, generates workouts, and shows you how to do new lifts, download Fitbod. You can use our code 3GIG for 25% off.
25%, folks. 25. Check it out. It's definitely jacked and tan season, so you want to get in the gym, get in shape to get out there to the beach, swimming, whatever the hell you're doing, mowing the lawn, that kind of thing.
He mows along in thongs, whatever you're into.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, banana hammocks, baby.
Reverse.
Right? Get my pool boy over here, and he does everything for
Whoa!
us. Yeah. Sorry, I said mine. Our neighborhood, we're kind of one thing over here. This lady in the corner house. So it's her pool boy.
Oh, it's her pool boy that you share? Okay.
No big deal. No big deal. But hey, we're going to go ahead and get out of here. Thank you, everybody, for listening. This is 3 Gig Sports.
We out.
Discussions, I've been writing, I love it.